Hi, I'm Liz.
And I'm Leah.
And we're here with Normally the Art of Frosting and Leah's Crazy Cake Lab, which is still true. But we're also here now with the website, thecakedecoratinginstructor.com or the Cake Academy. So today it is February while we're filming this, and we're looking for fast things to do for Valentine's. So if you're anything like us and have all kinds of Valentine's cakes to do and then don't have anything to do for our own family because it's last minute, or if you're the kind of decorator that really likes just to do things last minute with stuff around the house, this is the design for you. Today we're going to do a strawberry pie. Well, actually, it's strawberry pie with roses. This is going to be fun. Let's get started. So, we're starting our ingredients list, and we're starting with some golden Oreos, but you really could use any kind of a golden sandwich cookie, and you could even use chocolate if you wanted. That would probably be delicious as well. We're going to use either heavy whipping cream or a pastry pie like non-dairy topping. If you're going to use whipped cream, you want to use 2 of those or 1 of the pastry pie. We're also going to use a can of strawberry glaze. This is just a store-bought Duncan Hines strawberry glaze. You can use any pre-made strawberry glaze. We're also going to use 5 tablespoons of melted butter. We're going to use our 127 rose tip or your quick icer tip, any large rose tip, and we're going to use a bag. I'm using a tart pan for this, or you can use any kind of pie pan. We need about 2 containers of strawberries with the ends cut off. Hey! Also, we're going to use the food processor to chop up our Oreos. We're going to use about 30 Oreos or about 2 packages, or you can use a wooden mallet to pound them if you want to. So I'm using about 30 Oreos, or you can use roughly about 2/3 of the package if you want to, or you could use the whole package actually. So with the food processor, what we're really doing is just grinding them up just on a pulse, or if you really want to get your frustrations out, you can do it this way. So basically, you just want to pulse it until you get what is like a fine meal. You can see here that it's just crumbly, but not stuck together. You don't want it to be mushy at this point. And then we're going to go ahead and add in the melted butter. So we've got our 5 tablespoons of butter melted, and we just want to dump them into a bowl. And just give it a quick blend. Just want it to get a little bit sticky so we can press it down into the pan. Next, we're just going to toss it in our pie pan. Now, really you can do this in any shape that you want. I just like this little tart. It's fluted. And we're just going to press it in. You don't even have to press it in hard because the pressure of your fruit and your glaze and all that is going to push it down. Just make sure you kind of have it up to the edges here. Okay, a last minute thing I decided to do is just grab some white chocolate, a really good white chocolate bar. This is totally optional. And pour some white chocolate all over the bottom. Now, if you're going to do this, give it a couple minutes and let it dry out. Let it stiffen up just a tiny bit before you put your strawberries in. It'll also give a good seal to your cookies. So, and then you can see I'm just filling in with my strawberries. Now, if your strawberries are not very sweet, or here in the US it's February, well, everywhere it's February, but here in the US it's cold, and so our strawberries are often not too sweet. One trick is soak them in some water that you've put sugar in, so about a 1/2 cup of sugar, and fill your strawberries with water, and it'll sweeten them up and plump them up too. Next step is we're just going to put some of this strawberry glaze on, and there's really not a trick to this. You just kind of want it to be even. It turns out that this glaze actually has some strawberries in it as well. You can even tamp it down a little bit to get the glaze down in. Okay. Okay, next step, this is totally optional, but my decorator's brain kind of kicks in and I want a flat surface to work on. So I'm just going to put a really thin layer of my cream, so either my icing or my whipping cream. And then because I have a tart pan, which is up in the middle, gives me a higher center, I want to put a border on. If you've used a pie pan and it's farther down in and this part is even with here, you won't need it. But I want a little lift to my flower's edge, and so I'm going to put just a straight shell border around with any kind of a big star tip will work. So there you go. Now I have a flat surface to start with. Okay, stop. So I'm going to use a classic color striping method with my large rose tip, and you see my skinniest edge I'm going to stripe up white. And I want a pretty good section of white. Then, I'm just showing you where the white would be. Then I'm going to fill in the rest. And I'm just going to drip pink down one side. Now you can do whatever color you want, but because this is Valentine's Day, I'm going to use pink. So see how I just drip it down one side? And then I'm going to mix it down that side. No need to get a bowl or anything else. Okay, so what I want to do is I'm going to create U-shaped petals, about like this. You want them to edge up like they are. So a little bit of an upward. And I'm going to go all the way around my pie here, even though I am going to do 3 flowers. I'm going to cover my whole outside edge. Now I just want to delineate where my flowers are going to be. So maybe here's one, here's maybe a small one, and let's say here's maybe the bigger one. Now don't be afraid to cover over your other petals, and we're just going to start now to fill in, just come over the other petals. The main thing that you want is for them to not be a pinwheel, which means that make sure that they overlap at the seam, not that they're one right on top of the other. So it looks like I actually have room for a really little 4th one here, which is a good little surprise. Usually my pie tins are about the right size for me to do 3. So I'm going to add a 4th. Now we're just going to come back in and see what I mean where I'm covering the seam. So almost like a brick layer would do. You want to do that, otherwise you do end up with a pinwheel. Now you could actually ruffle these if you want, but I kind of like this flatter look. It tends to look a little more like a rose. And as we come to the middle, of course, we're making smaller and smaller petals. Also, as you refill your bag, you're going to get a little bit of a different pink and white combination each time. And we're just going to come around. Now, if you notice, I'm not finishing any one flower. I'm moving from flower to flower. And that also helps me to get a little more variation in my petals. So, we're almost there to the center. Now we can do a couple of things. So I'm going to show you 2 ways to do this. One for our experienced decorators and one for those of you who are just starting out. So we're just going to use our stick and we're going to pipe the center of our rose. It's a little tricky because this is a big bag. Usually we use some support underneath, but we just want to do the 3 center petals and then really, really carefully place it in the center of your rose. Now, for those of you who are just starting out and you're good with piping your petals, but not so good with the center and haven't learned how to pipe a rose on a stick yet, we're just going to do some stamen in the center of this one. And we're just going to build them up, squeeze, 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 and release to get a nice tip. And we want to use our rule of 3 and pipe 5 little stamen, just like so. The last thing I want to add is just a couple of leaves, and this is totally optional, and you can add them anywhere you want. I'm just going to add them to the outside just for a touch of green, just here and there. And just use the biggest leaf tip that you can find. And again, just use your little rule of 3. You can add them in here and there, just for the tiniest touch of color. Well, that was fun. I hope you enjoyed it. I think it's a really fun and unique idea. People will be surprised when you do it. And let me tell you, it's so fast. I mean, you're looking at 20 minutes here. One word of warning, the Oreo cookies or the golden sandwich cookies may be dangerous to someone's diet. Just saying. Anyway, if you guys do this, send us a picture, let us know. If you do other fillings, let us know. This one's a lot of fun, and like I said, so quick and easy for the beginner and also for the pro. If you're a pro and working in a shop, use this in your case. People will be blown away. You can do it with all your pies. Again, you can find us at The Art of Frosting on Facebook, or
you can find us at www.cakedecoratinginstructor.com.
And if you're one of those who wants to see the full-length videos of our most recent ones, please come there and join the membership. The membership is where you can see all of the full-length stuff from here on out. See you guys there. Talk soon. Bye.